A Simplex converted to a Great Western Railway Prairie tank Part 70, removing the boiler, securing the Petticoat pipe and fitting the front and rear wheels. This, by the way, is the new hinge pin that I made for the smoke box. It's a lot better in stainless steel. It's time to remove the boiler, starting with the chimney, followed by the Petticoat pipe. Everything in the smoke box is very oily, which is a good sign. At least it means that the lubricator's working. During the steam test I didn't get the whistling noise, so we'll assume that the blast pipe is okay. It's very easy to fit and remove by using a socket with an extension down the chimney. And now that's out of the way, I can undo the steam union. I use a spanner to loosen it, and then I use my hand for the rest of the operation so you can't see anything. That's better now my hand's not in the way. The steam union is loose. The next job is to push the snifting valve back inside the smoke box. I cannot remove the boiler from the chassis until I release these two things. They are the blowdown valves. I'm only showing one side. Removal of the other side was an identical procedure. While I was unscrewing the valve, the main part of it came loose from the other part. This actually made it easier to remove because now, using a socket, I can easily remove the rest of the fitting from the boiler bush. That's one blowdown valve removed. I thought you might like to have a look inside it. Very simple device. It's just an O-ring plug on a seat. This is a very good design for a blowdown valve. When they're the tapered plug into a hole type, they often leak. Now I can lift the boiler entirely off the frames in one go, being very careful not to trap my fingers. With the boiler out of the way, you can see how oily it is inside the smoke box. I will have to do something about this. I have a really good method for cleaning small steam engine parts and model aircraft engines. I'll show you this later on in the video. The time has come to secure the part that I made to the original Petticoat pipe. As always with the things I make, it's a simple solution. Here are the parts. First of all, I clean both of the parts using some solvent. The solvent is gun wash, and it's for cleaning spray guns, and it's very good at removing grease and oil too. And this is some Loctite 603. I've applied some to the copper part of the assembly, and here is a gratuitous shot of the Loctite 603 curing. Would it be okay to use Loctite 603 on its own? Well, probably, because really to break the bond of Loctite 603 you have to heat the part to quite a high temperature. Generally speaking, I do like the belt and braces approach. Your trousers never fall down when you've got one of each. I've drilled a hole all the way through the brass part and into the copper part, but not all the way through the copper. I drilled one hole at each side, and then I threaded the holes using a 6BA tap. All I have to do now is fit a very small grub screw at each side, and with the help of the Loctite 603, this brass part of the Petticoat pipe is going nowhere. To continue the job, it's time to look at fitting the front and rear wheels. The main problem with the front and rear wheel sets is that when the engine's lifted off the track, the whole assembly drops down. And this puts a lot of strain on the 2BA bolt that's holding the assembly to the chassis and to the stretcher to which the 2BA bolt is connected. There's no problem at all when the engine is actually on the track, and you can see here there is a rubbing plate that acts as a bearing on another stretcher across the front. In this clip I'm showing the front wheels resting on the rolling road. This is perfectly fine, everything is mechanically good. It only goes wrong when I remove the rolling road unit, and watch, you see how far it drops down. From a mechanical point of view, both with the front wheel set and the rear wheel set, this is a very poor arrangement and it's just not acceptable. In my recording studio I use very expensive large capsule condenser microphones, and the one I'm currently speaking into is called a Neumann U87, just in case anybody knows what that is, and this microphone was reassuringly very expensive. There is a bit of a flaw in the design though. The microphone itself is locked into an elasticated suspension cradle. The design problem is, if the elasticated suspension was to break, the microphone, complete with the inner cradle, would just fall onto the floor. My quick fix for this microphone problem was to just use a cable tie. Not to hold the parts together, just to catch them if they were to fall. And that's a system I'm going to use on this engine. Two much larger cable ties, not fully tightened, and when the engine's sat on the track, they're not even touching the frame stretcher. It's a very simple fix, and I'm sure this will be fine. As you can see in this clip as I'm demonstrating the movement of the front wheel assembly, you can clearly see that there really is quite a lot of movement, and this is a good thing. It's just so much better. I can sit the engine on the 3 rolling road assemblies. I don't have to support the front and rear wheels. As the front wheel assembly looks to be okay, I'm going to repeat the process with the rear wheel assembly. The pony truck that supports the rear wheels is much shorter than the front one, so there isn't as much leverage on the frame stretcher or the bolt, but nevertheless I'm going to treat it in exactly the same way. After oiling the unit, I put it in position under the engine. And here I'm fitting the first of 2 nuts to the bolt that holds the assembly to the chassis. Next I need to fit the second nut as a lock nut to the first one, holding one with a spanner and using the socket for the other one. I didn't tighten the first nut hard against the stretcher. Freedom of movement is very important on these things. And once again I fitted 2 cable ties. And don't worry, the cable ties are not going to melt because all of them are in places on the engine which do not get hot. Time to do a bit of parts cleaning. Here I am in my kitchen, and it's much warmer in here than it was in the workshop. In the kitchen I have a small dishwasher. Here it is. I only need a small dishwasher because at the moment I live here by myself. The benefits of living by yourself is you can get away with putting model engine parts in the dishwasher. This is nothing new for me, I've done it before, and with the help of a dishwasher tablet it's really good for cleaning model aeroplane engines and model steam engine parts. It's snowing outside and it's very cold, so I think I'll make a curry for my tea. When I make a curry, I generally make more than I need, then I can freeze the rest, and during the time the parts were being cleaned in the dishwasher, this is as far as I got with the curry. All I need to do now is boil up the concoction and then let it simmer for about 3 hours. Keeping my eye on the dishwasher, here there are 15 minutes left. 15 minutes later and the parts were on the table. Look how clean they are. I could even eat my curry out of these parts, but I'll resist the temptation to do that and use a bowl like everyone else. I'd just like to say that my curry is smelling delightful. Stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.